little bit of a feedback, so I have to be prepared to turn that off. Welcome, everyone. Sounds like somebody's flushing the toilet over there. Got that turned off.
Yeah.
Welcome to our family. Welcome to the Family Matters right here at the Teachers of God Foundation. We're in just one big hilarious event, just a movement of events. And I am so happy to be with you today. Lisa and I are co-hosts, and thank you all for joining with us for the open mic. And I just explained, Babe, before you came on that we just returned from Florida last night, and we got to hang out with my oldest daughter and four of her five kids and her two dogs and three cats, and we have two other kids down there, and with two more grandbabies. We got to see them all. And Lisa, like, she totally ignores me when she's around that many animals. She has those guys like laying on her and all over the place. In fact, Boomer.
That is so not true. I don't ignore you, but I totally think you're being funny.
I am. Boomer is this great big dog, huge. I mean, he's the size of a person.
He's a
And
black lab.
I go in the bedroom to go to sleep at night, and he's sleeping where I sleep.
Right next to my wife.
That's right. What are you doing with my wife?
That's funny.
It was fun. So anyway, that's what happened. I just want to let you know that I let everyone know that. And we are happy to be here with you all today for we're going to continue the open mic, the fourth Friday of the month open mic in this kind of forum. And we're moving over to TGF TV that will be a weekly broadcast every Friday morning for an hour and 15 minutes, and it'll be myself speaking about non-duality, A Course in Miracles, and non-duality. And I have a co-host who's been one of Rupert Spira's students for about 10 years and very well versed on the teaching of non-duality and the direct path. And we're going to be taking the course through a series, just breaking it down in how to read the course from a perspective of a non-dual experience, so that the course language comes in to a direct experience when you read it. It becomes an embodiment of your own understanding and the direct experience. We're going to do that once a month. And then Lisa is going to share on A Course in Miracles and healing. She'll be speaking about healing in her broadcast. That will be once a month. Irene Tompkinson, you all know her. She's a therapist, and she's also a 30-year veteran of AA, and she's going to be speaking on A Course in Miracles and the 12 Steps. And then finally, we have Kelly Russell, who is she's an excellent therapist and a coach, and she'll be speaking about A Course in Miracles and relationships, and A Course in Miracles and the proper or the use of forgiveness in your relationships and your experience of life. So that's going to be TGF TV. And we're going to have TGF TV for free for the month of January. And then when you want to be part of TGF TV, you can come into TGF TV through our, wait a minute, we've got some feedback here. Who's got feedback? I don't see them. Okay. Then if you want TGF TV, you'll come through our membership portal, and that will be $18 a month. And those details will be provided for you when we get the whole thing put together. It will be, and if you're in the transformation room or the presenter series right now, you'll get grandfathered into everything that is happening over there. So you don't need to change a thing. And thank you for supporting us at the Teachers of God Foundation in the way that you do. And we're looking forward to seeing how this new platform works for us. We're moving the platform over to something called Kajabi, and it's very exciting. It's very user friendly, and I think you'll enjoy it very much. And as I said, we'll give more details about that as we go along. And before we get started this morning, I just want to mention we the some of the details that are in our this week's newsletter. Did you guys see Lisa's blog last week? Did anyone see her blog where she talks about let's see, what was it? It was the four things. It was
I can't
life.
even remember what it was.
Well, it was titled "Life Explained in Four Short Sentences." And it's really great. It says, and here's the four things: pay close attention, realize nothing is happening, be aware of how you tell stories about what you think is happening, and realize that the story you tell is creating your reality as you think you experience it. And it is a great blog, as all of her blogs are. But and she does, she does so many she can't remember the one she did yesterday. But that doesn't matter because she's actually, as you know, she's a channel. So when she gets into the moment, then whatever is happening is what's coming through her, and that's why her creations are so inspiring and so profound. Starting with the 40-day and ending with the healing cure. And in between there is a multiple of teachings that Lisa has created. And so don't miss the newsletter. Don't miss the blog that she did last week. And then next week I'll do a blog. This week. I don't know whose blog is coming out Wednesday, but I'll be doing a new blog on next Wednesday. And today we're going to invite you guys to speak a little bit. So make sure your mic works if you're going to come on, because we're going to invite you to come on. And today we're going to talk about spiritual goals, or spiritual. A goal is really almost an intention, a desire. And today we're going to invite you to tell us, what is your spiritual desire? What is your spiritual goal, and why? Why do you have a spiritual goal? Why do you get into living in purpose, or why do you come on here to the Friday live stream? What is your why? And what is it that you want from this experience? And just to contemplate these ideas. And then finally, the last two things, and if you want to write down these questions, that would be great. What is your why? And this is what started this whole thing, this whole idea of this question is, I was wondering why people, what we offer in living in purpose, or the 40-day, or the healing cure. What do we offer that creates the pull for people to want to be in it? So, and that's important because that sets up your why, because it becomes the means of the pull that sets aside the mind that would rather be doing something else than waking up. So your why is pretty important. And I think in the 40-day program, the reason that the 3 days of preparation and the signing of the commitment card is so that you remember, when everything hits the fan and when things don't seem to be going your way, you remember that you made a commitment, a 40-day commitment to this journey, and you're all in. and you're not going to let it, you made an internal commitment, or you signed it and made a commitment with your signature, but you affirmed, I'm doing this, I'm staying with it, because you know how easy it is for us all to be distracted, or to procrastinate, or say, I'll do that tomorrow. There's a replay, a recording of it, and then 5 days later you go, oh wow, I was going to do that 5 days ago, and I never picked back up on it. And then the further you get away from that day that you committed to, the harder it is to get back to it. And so what is your why? And what is it that you want? So there's 4 questions. And what do you want above all else? What do you want above all else? And then the final question is, what is keeping you from doing it? So those are the 4 questions, and that's the way we're going to sort of roll today. And I'm going to step back and ask Lisa to step forward, and she can sort of fill in the blanks where I might have missed something.
Thank you so much, Bill, and good morning, everyone. So I'm scrolling through all the videos now, and for anyone who wants to put your videos on, I do this all the time when I'm on here, and just show yourself. And, we had a teacher that was going to come on today, because this is what this group teach was inspired by, is that it would be a space for teachers to step forth and begin sharing their experience, because we at the Teachers of God Foundation have set a vision that this would really be a way to really activate people to move out of listening to other teachers and studying A Course in Miracles, to actually beginning to live the principles and begin to use your voice and begin to show up and say, okay, I'm ready, even though I think I'm not ready. And what's interesting for us as teachers, as we invite people to come on and share, is the absolute fear that comes up in people when they realize, oh my God, I'm going to have to share something. And they think it's not going to be inspiring. They're not going to be able to answer questions. And so that's why this week we don't have a teacher. Like we really, so Bill and I are like, okay, good. That's so good for someone to see that. And then we're like, all right, what can we do this week? And we wanted to create a space here today where that we're going to open it up for you to share and use your voice. And even if you're afraid to show yourself, because remember what A Course in Miracles says is that sickness is isolation. We hide. We say, I'm not ready, I'm not good enough, I'm just I'm not there yet, I haven't finished the workbook lessons. And the message is always, you are ready. You are always ready to face your fear and to move through it. And so this question today these questions that we wanted to ask is for you to share, and if you don't have to come on, but to really contemplate in your own mind, what is your why, and what do you want, and what's getting in the way of what you want? Because what we do as humans is we have let's just see what happens approach. We're not intentional at all. We're not deliberate. We don't know what we want. And so the results that we get in life, which is just a picture of our own internal state of mind, is absolute confusion. And then we try to piece together what we thought happened. And Jesus tells us in A Course in Miracles, you will be wrong. Like we try to make sense of the things that the body's eyes see, and it's senseless. So today what we wanted to do, even if you don't come on and share, is to really sit quietly with these questions today. What do I want? What is my spiritual goal? Why do I want it? And what's getting in the way of it? Because this is the mind training of A Course in Miracles, is to first, you got to see the blocks and obstacles and difficulties and problems that you think are real in order for them to be removed. So I'm just going to share a quick little story before we open it up for everyone. I just posted this on my Facebook wall, but coming home yesterday, this was funny to me. It may not seem funny to you, but we're in Florida and we're going through the security to get on the plane. And this woman behind me is so angry. I thought she was with the guy behind her, but she was so mad at something, I don't even know what, that she couldn't see me. She literally was blind, even though physically she wasn't blind. And we get to the security belt and it's so busy there. Like there's not 1 inch left on the security belt. And she doesn't see me. She doesn't see that I have the baskets on there, putting my stuff on, taking, my shoes off, my coat off, putting my stuff in the basket. And she's throwing her stuff. And the guy behind her was being so kind and so sweet. And she couldn't see him either. So I actually stopped. I turned to Bill, and to me, it was a total curiosity to me. Have you guys ever seen The Matrix, the movie The Matrix? There's a scene in The Matrix where there's this black cat that shows up on the scene, and when the black cat shows up on the scene, it's like something in the scene that doesn't belong there. That's what it felt like to me. It just felt like the whole place was in total harmony. We're all just kind of, okay, we got to get through this security belt. And there was this alien foreign object, this woman who was so wrapped up in her emotions that she was blind and deaf. And we were all there. Like I literally stopped and was standing in front of her, staring at her. I didn't say anything because I didn't get it to say anything. The guy behind her was trying to help her. And I said it out loud to Bill in front of this lady. Look at this. What is this? And Bill's sort of looking at it. And we got through the gate, and I'm just blessing her with holiness the whole time. I'm just like sending her love, blessing her. Went through the gate and I waited for her. I watched her. I was standing like right in front of her. And I watched her walk the entire way down the gate until she turned the corner. And I'm blessing her with love and holiness. And for me, this is my why. Like my what I want and why I want is to remember what I am and to stay so centered and present at every moment that I never disconnect from this piece. It's always like fully alert to how can I be helpful? This is my brother whom I love. And the mind training of A Course in Miracles brings us to this experience. You never lose your connection, never. You know exactly who you are. You know exactly who everyone else is. And so life becomes this total playground where, and you see things like this sometimes, like, wow, I can remember when I used to get so lost in my emotions that I literally couldn't see all the love that was around me. We were all standing there just wanting to love her, wanting to help her. I was like, okay, like she didn't see us. So this is what I just wanted to offer today to everyone here, is to really become more present in your experience and not let your emotions be the boss of you. This is what the 40-day program is about. This is what the Healing Cure is all about, a program I created to start to experiment with these ideas instead of studying them. You got to live them to know them. And my goal is peace always. Above all else, I want the peace of God and not to lose it. And if something seems to take me off track, like yesterday, I realized I lost a $70 brand new sandal that I had bought the day before. I got through the gate and I realized, oh, it fell out of my bag somewhere. And I realized I was irritated. I was irritated for 10 minutes. I tried to find it. I went back to the security gate. But then the mind training brings you back. Oh, hold on a second. I want peace. Like I've lost my peace for a moment. I don't care about a shoe. But for a moment, it became the most important thing in my life, right? And you lose your peace because of these things. But when you set the goal, then you say, this is what I really want. Like, I really want to remember what I am. I want to be in joy. And that's more important than anything. And so this is where the rubber hits the road, right? Like where we say, okay, what is it I want? Why do I want it? And what is getting in the way of what I want? So I'm so grateful you're all here. Lynn Johnson and David Fishman, thank you so much for being here and for all you do for broadcasting and making a space for people to teach also. And that's really what the presenter series and the transformation room at the Teachers of God Foundation is about, and living in purpose especially, is that we at the Teachers of God Foundation, and Bill and I and everyone who's here supporting this work is really saying, hey, you're the teacher. And this is something that I was just talking about recently in our Living in Purpose class. Is right now in the world there's sort of a handful of well-known Course in Miracles teachers, but we're blessed to see all the teachers that are unknown who are brilliant. We hear them every week. We have Zoom calls and we see them. And one of my goals is to make these unknown teachers the voices as we go forward, as the self-help genre disappears, as the law of attraction and law of manifestation disappears. Nobody cares about that stuff anymore, manifesting to get things. And as truth teachers step forward, and as people start to go, I need a guide to help me on this path, you'll be ready. That's really what the Teachers of God Foundation's mission and vision is all about, is that we're here to be the encouragers of the people who are like, I'm almost there, but not quite ready. And we're like the cheerleaders that say, here's the mic. Jill, I see you shining like a star. I'd love you to share, because Jill's somebody who is, she's somebody who has stepped forward. Jill, would you like
Hold
to
on just a minute.
Okay.
Before Jill comes on, Jill, let me just pause here and then you come on. I just want to clean up a statement that you made at the beginning that something happened that our guest speaker didn't want to pick up the mic or whatever. That's not the case. I didn't have a chance to have a proper discussion with this person, and I felt like we didn't really have because I like to have a pre-interview before we do the open mic, and that didn't happen. So that's really what happened today. I just want to clear that up because that's a little bit of a misstatement. So thank you for that. Anyway, I think you didn't have the full story, Lisa. And Jill, I want to thank you for pausing, and the mic is all yours.
Hi, my heart just leapt a little when you said Jill. I'm like, uh-oh, put me on the spot, but I'm learning to go with the flow. I don't prepare anything anymore because it takes up my whole head. I can't think of anything else except for what I want to say. So I stopped doing that after the last Healing Cure seminar we did in New York. I just got up and started talking and it went okay. So when you asked why or what brought me to Teachers of God, right away I thought, lately I know that I'm healing, but I didn't even know I needed to heal, but I knew something was wrong. I didn't feel right. I always felt angry. I didn't know why. So I got into watching Lisa on, I think it was last Thanksgiving. There was a Course in Miracle conference from Armen. And I thought, this lady has something. I want to know everything, how she does it, but I didn't know, I still don't know why, but I'm still following everything Lisa does and I keep getting better, but I heal things that I didn't even know were wrong. So I haven't found a way to put it into words yet, because I would love to sell the healing cure because I know it works, but I'm not sure yet how to put it into words. I just know I'm getting better. And I want peace. I want my guides to always be with me and to tell me what to do next. And when I don't have peace, I know it's because I'm letting resentments get in the way. And I've learned to just say, Holy Spirit, please take this resentment away. And I know that that will happen, and I don't know how it works.
Thank you so much, Jill. And you know, this is the thing, like we say, I don't know how to put it into words. And my experience is that our being is the communicator. So you simply picking up the mic as you did, I'm sure everybody here in this room felt it and is having an experience of your childlike nature, your total willingness to just say yes. Jill is somebody who's really stepped out of stuckness, and she has never traveled on an airplane ever. And I offered the Healing Cure live in New York City in September, and Jill came. Like, of all the places somebody can get on a plane by themselves and land in Manhattan, everybody, New York City, Jill did it, right? She shows up with this little backpack. She got totally lost. She flew into New Jersey, which is even way more complicated to get into from New Jersey to Manhattan, but she did it. And now she's coming to the Healing Cure, offering another weekend in December 14th and 15th. We're doing a 40-day app launch party on Saturday, December 14th in the morning in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, for anybody who wants to come. And then I'm doing the Healing Cure live. It won't be broadcast because I really like to, for these live events, to have a place where people can freely express themselves. And Jill's coming to that. And you're going to Los Angeles too, right? So she's going to Los Angeles in May. But this is what happens. Like and I love what you said, Jill, like you feel like something was not right or something was wrong. Like that's what we all feel. Like when we live off center, we think something's just not right. Something's wrong. But when you take a step, and this is just for all of us, and we say, all right, I don't know why I'm taking this step, but I'm not going to wait anymore. And so thank you so much, Jill. I'm so looking forward to seeing you again in December. Who else would like to share? Or Bill, do you want to say anything else? I see a hand up.
I like, I mean, it's so funny because Jill, you said just what I told Lisa. It might have been last night on the plane. I said, you know, I think a lot of people's why to want some of our courses is because they want what you have. They want what they see in you being spoken about, or the certainty of it, or whatever that looks like. And that's not different from the beings that follow a guru. They want what the guru has. And not to say that you're a guru, because you're not, and you don't present yourself to be that, but that is what happens when we see a model being demonstrated that pulls us to recognize the self that we are in denial about. We recognize the self from somewhere, and we go, oh, that's the self. That's the self that I and they think that it's you, but it's really them seeing a reflection of their own being that's over there in that moment. That's why many of us, when we open the mic and we come on and we speak and it resonates with our soul experience, it's because we're seeing the reflection of the God being over there, because God is, it's the omnipresent experience of what God is, which is each and every one of us and all expressions that happen, all animate and inanimate objects. Everything is what God is, and nothing is not that. So thank you, Jill. That was awesome. I look forward to meeting you in December for this Portsmouth event. And any of you that would like to come and join us, it's going to be a party. It's a great venue at the Sheraton Harborside Hotel. There are, I think they're sold out for rooms there, but there's Airbnbs that are close by, I'm sure are very nice and not expensive. There are some other not so expensive hotels. The Sheraton sold out before we even reserved our spot. And what happened was I wanted to have a celebration for the 40-day app that's right now going through Apple's regimen of publishing, and it'll be published in the next week or so. And then we're going to have a celebration. And I wanted to have a celebration of the 40-day app, soon to be in Android, I hope. I just, Lisa said, I think last week, that it's $2,000 for that. It's not, it's about $4,000 or $4,500. And that's about what the Apple app costs, and we make it free. It's a free app. Once it gets out there, you'll be able to share it with your friends right from the app. It's the coolest thing. And then your friends or you'll be able to have friends that want to do the 40-day right from their phone. And probably next year, I'm imagining that next year is going to be put in an Android app, because there's a lot of folks that use the Android. But anyway, join us if you can. We're going to actually live stream. We'll send a link out for you, because we're going to live stream the 40-day part of the event. And then, as Lisa said, and as I've heard others that have done the healing cure, that's a real intimate experience, and vulnerability is an important part of it. And so she's asked me not to live stream the healing cure, so I'm not going to do that.
Awesome. I see Susan Reed in the house. So Susan, yay, if you want to just unmic yourself.
So hello everybody, very glad to be here in getting to be very wintry UK. And I just love what Bill said earlier about, we're talking about living it, because one of the things that has come to me, I read the Course in Miracles. It was a big green book 30 years ago. And I read it from cover to cover, and during my recovery, after my partner's death and being made redundant in short order. And I was 12 steps. By the grace of God, I got into the 12-step program and was introduced to all these sorts of works. And as I say, it was 30 years ago. And I have been doing what Bill was saying, was that it's really being able to live it in your day-to-day life. Once you've sort of got through the process of the lessons, is how do you really apply it and live it? And you're, for me, I had been an international banker, investment banker, and one of the first women to do that. And it was one of the things, it was highly stressful. And so now I'm able to teach stress management and energy management using all the principles. So I've been able to put the two, my prior career, which I never went back to, together with now speaking and teaching, because of what I learned in AA. And there were many principles I learned from that, such as listen for the similarities and not the differences, which I believe are fundamental life skills. But coming back to just to living it, it is because nowadays I go to church and I also go to my Buddhist groups. Neither of them particularly like the fact that I do that, but they're getting to learn that I'm saying, each of you are talking about unity, you're talking about peace. And then you're saying, oh, but it's different for you. We're Christian, or we're different for you, we don't have a God, whatever. But I say, Christ says, the kingdom of heaven is within, which is exactly what the Buddhists are saying, is that there is no external God. So it's really about trying to help people to reach that unity. And that's what I see my purpose is now. And I was brought to this through doing this, through reading the Course in Miracles. But in the last few years, I suffered health challenges. And again, I had a growth which had to be removed. And as a result of that, I had a post-op hernia, which is what has really brought me down. And because when I had that repaired, I felt like Samson after Delilah cut his hair, that the wonderful power I had been given, and which I believe comes from.
Susan, do you have your music on in the background?
Oh, yeah, maybe. Hold on.
If you can turn that off, that would be great.
Sorry, hold on.
Thank you.
I'm not sure how to. I don't want to lose you.
It's gone away now.
Let me see.
I don't know. The music that
Yeah.
was playing is now gone. So you're
The
good.
music stopped. Thank you
Yeah.
for doing that.
Well, I don't think I did anything, so
Oh,
I
there it
think
is again.
come back.
Yeah,
Hold on
that's
just a sec.
Yeah, if you can get rid of the music, that would be great.
Hold on. Yep. Now I hope I'll get back to you.
Good.
Oh,
We see you.
I'm
Just go. Yeah, we see
Yep,
you.
I'm-
Just go
I'm
ahead and talk.
seeing you. Hold on. I got you. Right. Sorry
You're
about
here. You're
that.
here.
Yes, so as I was saying, it's now it's marrying the two sides, but since the operations, I feel like a lot of my power has gone, and my inner self is saying to me, why did you let them do that? Because I had so much believed in the power of the mind, not the mind and spirit to heal. And I practiced that for 20 years before I had the operations, which were it was an emergency operation, so it was somewhat out of my control. So that's why I'm sort of back, sort of still wanting to be with the people such as yourselves that are practicing this and being in a like-minded community. So I'm really grateful to be here, and thank you all very much.
Nice. Very nice. Thank you so much, Susan. And that is that does encapsulate, so it summarizes a great, a reason to be here is to be with like-minded beings and be reminded of the truth of what we are. And someone can say two words and be a trajectory that will actually hold us in the memory of our own being from then on. And you just don't know when that's going to be, who's going to say it, what it's going to be said. And it can be the most simple statement, like it could even be, I am that I am, and that's all that I am. And as simple as that is, that's a profound statement of our identity and our beingness. And thank you for sharing what your why is this morning. And also, we just invite you to continue to be part of our gathering as often as you feel to click on the screen. And thank you for being with us this morning.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much, Susan. I mean, oh my God, you're so lovely. And you expressed something that I hear a lot and that I know I went through, is this idea of, you said there was a growth and you had an operation, and then the mind then starts to second guess it. Then it goes into doubt. And you expressed it as challenges. And what's interesting for me over the last couple of years is my own recognition that in the middle of everything that the body's eyes were reporting, there I am in perfect wholeness. Like your wholeness, Susan, has never changed. Never. Your wonder, your curiosity, your innocence, your joy, your peace. And yet these things get clouded over by the mind in doubt. And so the thing that Jesus is calling us all to heal is those kinds of blocks, like the doubt, to really recognize, like, oh yeah, cool, I had an operation, okay, like it's just part of the journey. You don't have to doubt it anymore. You just can really recognize what.
I appreciate what you're saying. I think for me, it was interesting because when I had the first operation, I had no fear of death. having had a truly born again experience after my redundancy and bereavement. I mean, I was only a tiny flickering flame. I knew my name, and I couldn't even count the potatoes to roast for Christmas lunch. I was in such stress. And I was an international banker, and I couldn't even count potatoes, you know, or what do I need? I couldn't function.
Mm-hmm.
So I know what it is to really come back. And so I had no fear of death. And in the hospital, it was such
And then
a
to see you now,
grim experience, a really grim experience, and seeing what was being done to older people. And I'd always prayed not to get past my sell-by, you know, never to be allowed to live past my sell-by date, because I saw what happened to my elderly parents. And both of whom as a family, we'd all had amazing lives. And I just prayed God not to let me get past that. And so I actually refused to sign the consent form in the hospital for the operation. But that really put the cat amongst the pigeons, and you know, everybody was down on me. I had to do it. What did they have to put right in order for me to want to come round? As I said, I don't want to come round on this ward. I've had it.
Mm-hmm.
And because I've had an amazing life, I was quite happy to go. And anyway, here I am. And
exactly. And that's it. And see, that's it. That's, you say, here I am. And look at the joy that's expressed there. And to see now, like, you're in total full function. Like the mind really does a number on all of us, where it says, you know, I can't fulfill my function. Our function is only to really be in awareness of the truth of what we are. That's our function. And to forgive
I'm
ourselves.
finding it very, very hard, Lisa, now, because I'm teaching again.
Mm-hmm.
There's a thing here called the University of the Third Age. I think it functions in America, I'm not sure, but it's for retired people basically. But it's all run by volunteers, and we all volunteer teach. So people had their specialities before, and now they do it for their peers here. And it's a charity thing, and it's all voluntary. And I'm teaching again skills, energy management skills, but I'm finding it very hard because I've lost so much mobility now that I find it hard because I'm literally not walking my talk because I have that disability, and I'm doing everything in my power to seek for some healing, because I'm used to being able to heal by the power of my mind, and I'm very distressed that I'm not at the moment. As you say, I'm not fully functional in my book.
Yeah,
You know,
in your book, and that's the best way to put it.
You know, I'm a really strong swimmer. I'm a lifesaver. I used to race. I went to swimming again the other day to try to get my muscles back, and I could hardly kick my right leg, which is the one that I've got the painful knee after I had a car accident. But it healed then. But 30 years later, it's coming back, and I can't move it very well. So,
well, I just think you're bringing up something very important for everyone here watching. Is like you say, I've lost my ability. And
yeah.
see, to me, you haven't lost any ability. Like the mind, Bill has been so helpful.
She's talking about a physical ability.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally. I understand that. But that's
Yeah.
where we have to really watch what the mind is saying and recognize, okay, like maybe the body's not functioning the way I would like it to function, or it's not functioning the way I remember it used to function. But to really say, but I still have full power and full ability, and I'm still, you said I'm here. Like, and then the joy comes. Like that's where like our true power is. And the ego mind just is like, no, I'd rather the body be like this. I'd rather be able to walk. I'd rather be able to. But when we just go, you know what? That just is not a priority right now. I'm devoting my mind totally to the truth and not trying to like force an outcome. And you're a communicator, Susan. And I just really invite you to stay in your full potential and full ability and full power as the communicator that you are and the love that you are. And that's life.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you for being here so much. I'm so happy to hear you. Who
Yeah.
else would like to share?
Thank you, Susan. Okay, who else? If you were to think about this, the third question, what do you want above all else? What does that sound like? What is that sound bite? What is that desire that you want above all else? Does anyone want to share what they want above all else?
I like to, Bill.
Chris, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Above all else, I want to do God's will and fulfill his divine desire as me. And the course is, Lisa mentioned the course is such a wonderful tool to release any blocks to the awareness of God's will for me. And why do I want that? Because I want to experience more joy, more peace, more prosperity, more God's love than ever before. And those are tremendous whys. Who doesn't want to experience blissful joy? Who doesn't want to have a mind so peaceful that it could hear his loving, gentle voice? Who doesn't want to experience abundance and his love? And let me see, what do you want above all else? Of course, that. And what keeps it from happening is lack of forgiveness and lack of being in the moment. But when I'm in the moment, centered in my heart, in the present moment, witnessing, observing, looking at what comes in and undoing, removing the blocks to the awareness of that love, joy, peace, prosperity, I'm doing God's will because I'm allowing his thoughts, his loving thoughts to come into my mind, and I could speak it and act it. And there's no other joy more valuable than that for me, no other purpose other than that. I had an experience this morning of that. I was experiencing a thought of lack. You could call it fear, limitation. It's all the same thing. And because of an opportunity I have in getting my car fixed. And one of the things that I really appreciate that God has given me is the art of spaciousness in my mind because of the practice of the course and a loving way to deal with anything that comes up. And one of the things that I did is I became a loving father to a child, a son that was experiencing this. So I said to that, so you're experiencing feelings of upset because what you wanted didn't happen. And so you're feeling some concern. And what you want is peace. And I'm sorry that you're experiencing that. Thank you for allowing that to arise in the spaciousness of my love. Thank you for wanting me to understand that. And you deserve forgiveness. You deserve love. And Father, you're the love in which I forgive myself. And I'm willing to allow this to pass and let this go. What's a more loving way of looking at this, my Holy Spirit? And I enjoy seeing myself be today's centering prayer, forever in effect of God. Now, as I'm centered in my heart chakra, in the holy instant. So that's, to me, I'm an effect of God. What prevents that effect from happening is lack of forgiveness and lack of being the observer in the present moment. So thank you for allowing me to share that process. I'm complete.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. That's a good practice that you described. And I'm one that really likes to look into and have the experience of the non-dual pointing that the Course really, it really does point to, although it uses a lot of non-dual terms along the way. And when we speak of His forgiveness and His will, and these kinds of statements of dualistic language, I just want to invite everyone to recognize that when we use those terms, the terms that Chris just used, we're really talking about the presence of I am. When we say His, there's not a Him. When we say God, it's not something outside of us, it's what we are. We are the presence of God. We are the living holiness of what God is. And it's the thinking mind that lays a lot of it puts an overlay in front of that I that becomes the different objects of experience. And His holiness is not God that's separate from us, it's our own holiness. And living in the moment or living in forgiveness is just really as simple and as easy as being in stillness and being aware of the experience without touching it or leaning into it, but just being aware of the experience. You're right there. You're in God holiness. You're experiencing forgiveness. If you see as a witness and you don't judge or label or put your belief system or conditions on top of it. So thank you for that description, Chris. And I just invite everyone to take it one step further and to just be the I am that I am, the awareness of love's presence, because that's what I am. It's a variation of Popeye. I am that I am, and that's all that I am.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Chris, also. Just for those of you, I know I've mentioned this a few times in the Friday group, but Chris just made a very bold move. Chris just left a very high-paying nursing position that was extremely secure. He's worked there for, I think, 30
years. Yeah.
30 years. And he's been getting guidance to really step more fully into being a yoga teacher and a teacher of truth. And this is where, like, we really start living A Course in Miracles. It's not conceptual. It's like, okay, what's the voice telling you, each of you? Like, what's coming to you to do? And the mind that lives in fear will hijack that guidance and say, I'm not ready. And so I really celebrate you, Chris. I'm so grateful for just all you always bring, and for listening to that voice and taking this step in trust, because this is what we're all called to do as teachers of God. Like, we really all has individual gifts, and your gifts are needed. And it's like they have to come to a point when you say, enough studying, enough waiting until I'm ready. I'm ready. And you're ready in your unreadiness. Really, you're trusting in the strength that's within you, in this power and this presence, not in your own strength and presence. Like, I love the line in A Course in Miracles that says, whenever you're in fear, it's for one reason only: you're trusting in your own strength. That's it. And that's all I ever need to remember. Like, if I'm in fear, I'm trying to do things on my own. I have forgotten this presence and this power. I've forgotten what I am. I've forgotten that I'm safe. I've forgotten that I'm loved. I'm just relying on my own little self, Lisa. And when I can just totally say, I'm totally safe. Yes, like, thank you, Bill. Like, when I remember God, which is the light I am, God's not out there. God's the light I am that connects us all as one. Then I'm like Jesus says, you're flying on the wings of an eagle. You're really, you no longer flying like with these little petty strength. So thank you, Chris. I'm so looking forward to that yoga class. Chris has started to film the videos.
Yeah, Chris is going to have an online yoga class. He's going to have a free introductory class that we are filming. And then he's going to have a yoga class that helps people to get to use his training, the yoga exercises and the understanding that he points to in his demonstration, to point people to actually is a way to get back into alignment and have that experience of knowing the self. I'm going to share his email address here. If anyone wants to write to Chris and ask him about his yoga class, you can do it right here at the email address that I gave you, casanovas.care.provider@gmail.com. That's the email address I have. He may have another one, but use that one if you want to contact Chris. And also, I just want to say that, you know, when we get into this experience of being fearful, stand still. Just stand still. Don't let the mind go in and start doing a witch hunt on why is this happening? What have I done wrong? Where have I gone off? Stand still in the awareness of the fear. Allow the fear to be what it is. Just welcome it. Don't try to say, oh, you know, change it or set it aside with mantras. I am that I am. I am that I am. No, just stand still in the presence of your holiness, being aware of the fear, and it will actually divest itself in the presence of the light that you are, because you are this pure light. You are the presence of God. You are the holiness of I am. And if you'll be still and tremble not, if you'll be still and just hold in that position of holiness, that is a quantum expression of true forgiveness. You don't have to do a thing. You don't have to go to a workbook lesson. You only have to allow your holiness to pervade and shine a light on this seeming upset. And then you've done it all. That's the whole course. You have accessed the power of your being, which is not separate from or different than what God is.
Yeah, I was reading this morning in Course in Miracles, and I came upon the part in chapter 5 about Freud. And Jesus has a whole section in here about how Freud was in fear, and Freud was a healer, but he didn't heal himself. And so there's a whole section in here talks about God's higher court, like will undo all that we think we've done wrong, all our mistakes. And like it's amazing, like he says, like this, stop devote, like this just reminded me what you said, Bill. It's like, stop devoting your time trying to figure out what went wrong or what you could have done differently, and make a decision to devote your time to knowing God. And he talks about the word fixated. Be fixated on God. And it says there have been many healers who did not heal themselves. They have not moved mountains by their faith because their faith was not whole. Some of them have healed the sick at times, but they have not raised the dead. Unless the healer heals himself, he does not believe that there is no order of difficulty in miracles. He has not learned that every mind that God created is equally worthy of being healed because God created it whole. And then it's on page 226 in the Purple Book, the whole section about Freud, is that it says that Freud was an honest man and a healer. And it says he was therefore only partially insane at the perceptual level and was unable to relinquish the hope of release, even though he could not cope with it. So I love these sections in the Course that Jesus is actually busting us, right? He's saying, look, you're delaying yourself. and 2020 is right around the corner. And so I'm always wanting to encourage people to set a goal for yourself. Like, to, if you're still struggling, if you're still in fear, if you're still confused, be part of the communities that are available to you. Like, we offer a ton of programs at the Teachers of God Foundation. And as you know, if you do these Friday groups, you hear things that other people share where you feel more bold to take a step. You say, okay, I'm going to move forward now and be the living embodiment. That's what we're doing in Living in Purpose right now. 2019 was dedicated to the embodiment of Christ. That's a great goal. Like, wherever you go, you're remembering that you are Christ. So who else would like to share? You can just unmute yourself if you want, or raise your
What is your
hand.
why? What do you want above all else? Or what is keeping you from accessing that without getting into the story? But what is your why and what is it that you really, really want? Jennifer Breaky?
Hello. Can you
Hey,
hear me? Hi, can you guys
yes,
hear me?
yes, just
Okay.
good, really good.
I've probably had the most remarkable week of my life. I was so excited. I wanted to get hold of Cindy and Lisa today to share this, but this is the perfect opportunity. Um, the dream is so real to me now. Like, this is a dream, and the separation. Jesus just revealed some stuff to me about the separation that really, really just got me so excited. And my why is because I have never left God. I want to remain in that state of consciousness, that awareness that I am always with God. This dream is just a dream, and I'm not really here. And everything that's happening is a projection that I've projected outside of my mind. And the people, I've created the situations and the people and the events, and that was before. It was theory, but now it's real. It's like I'm looking at the world through different eyes, and it was so mind-blowing. It was something. I was watching a video, and Cindy had actually said something, and she asked a question, I think, to Jackie Laura Jones, and I was just like, oh, Cindy, I so get that. That's my experience now. Anyway, the one thing I wanted to say, my big why is because I love God. Because I love God, and because God is my all, my everything, not in a super spiritual context, but I want to walk into a room, not have to say a word, but just be the presence of God in that room. That people are healed by the fact that God is there. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's it. I want to walk into that room, and it's not about the ego. It's, I really don't give a jack shit, excuse me, about what people think about me. It's the presence of God. That's my why. My why is so that people can wake up from this dream. It's like, oh my God, this dream sucks. I'm going to get into the happy one while I'm here and really help. But I just wanted to share something on the separation that Jesus really just challenged me this week in such a gentle, loving way that only Jesus could do. And something happened, and I said to Jesus, oh, why is this happening? You know, my instant thought was why. And the answer from the Holy Spirit actually was so clear, was because you want to make the separation real. You still want to believe in the separation. You still want to believe in it. And so you're creating things to make you think, you see, I'm separated. You see, it's real, but it's not real. It's an illusion. And this was all happening. So my why is to be the presence of God, and through the presence to change and help thousands of people. But the dream and the separation is so real. So thank you. And thank you, Cindy, for that question you asked Jackie Laura Jones. Oh my gosh, I was like, oh. And thank you, Lisa, for everything. I see Christ in you. And yes, I'm excited when I see you, Lisa. I see Christ in you. It's amazing. So thank you. I see Christ in all of you. But Lisa asked that, I think, in the last meeting. She's, don't you all get excited when you see me? You know, you see in the Christ. I'm like, yes. So I love you all. The Christ is in all of us, and this is a dream. We are not separated from God. We are with God right now. We never left. Let's just go back, but let's do it in a way that's so graceful and we take everyone with us. So blessings.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. And I lose my freaking mind in excitement when I see you also. So it's the same. Yeah, and I liked what you said, Jennifer. I'm having the same experience of just being able to walk into a room and knowing the light that I am. That's what happened in the airport yesterday. Like my past Lisa identity wanted to fix everybody with words and a touch and a like physical. And in that moment, I was really being present. Like, what do I do? Is there anything I need to say? Is there? It was just no, just be totally present, remembering who you are and who she is, blessing with love. And that's a big change for me, to be done with people pleasing, like to be done with trying to fix everyone and heal everyone. And it's more like, all right, I'm just going to stand here knowing I am the light of the world. So is everything else. So thank you and thank you, Cindy. Cindy brings it every time. Okay, I see a hand up down here. Audrey. Hey, Audrey.
Hello. I just had the inspiration just to kind of clarify the healing part for people. I think maybe if they're not aware of this, I experienced healing in one of our Living in Purpose calls when I was very sick. Cindy was reminding me that I was literally in bed sick on the call, and I asked for help, and Lisa and Bill and everybody in the call supported that. Long story short, I actually got out of bed, felt like a completely different person, instant healing. But I want to say to people that I still experience symptoms, physical symptoms from this experience that I'm experiencing. But the difference is, and the healing is that through what Bill taught me, I am now allowing that experience to be. I am allowing, I'm not resisting it. I'm just recognizing it and saying, okay, there's pain here. I feel ill, I'm dizzy. Yes, okay, and welcoming it, because that is the healing part, and changing your mind about it. And sometimes when I was hearing healing, I don't want people to think, oh, I'm healed. Like, yes, I'm healed, but I just wanted to say that, yeah, I experience things still. And it's still about that healing of the mind. So I'm still very grateful to my new family. And I think that call was even recorded. Maybe one day I'll go back and watch it, but I love you all so much. And it was the Living in Purpose program, which I'm still in, and I just can't advocate for it so much. And I know we say we don't need programs or studies, but I needed it, because that's what brought me into now practicing this, embodying Christ. And my why is just to do everything in love. I love you all.
Nice. Oh my God.
Wow, Audrey, I'm so happy to see you. That call and seeing you now is everything to me, because I would actually like to use that call with this now, because that call, Audrey really was in bed. Yeah. And at first she didn't have her video on. She didn't have her video on, and we invited you to put your video on, and you put your video on. You said, I'm in bed. We're like, that's okay. And so she's got the camera, and she had her eyes closed, and Bill took her through a sort of inquiry, like, and you could see the peace, because we were all watching Audrey on the screen, and the peace that came over you, Audrey, and the joy of your total relaxation and trusting. And it was like you weren't trying to do anything. You just rested as Bill's voice was guiding you. And I had Audrey, like, on these calls, you have tons of faces. Well, I put Audrey on the big screen, like I've got you on the big screen right now. I wanted to watch, and I never took you off the big screen the whole rest of the call. And this is where the life in us does start to stir. We need do nothing except allow and welcome this experience to come. And that's what Audrey did. She just was laying on the bed, totally open to just being present. The life that's in us, this light, starts to come alive.
Mm-hmm.
And then Audrey got up. She didn't even know anybody was watching her. I was watching you. So she literally sat, first you sat up. She's leaning up against the pillows. And then you got up. Your feet hit the floor. And I was like, okay, Audrey's up. And now look at you. And I'm glad you were mentioning that's like, we can still go through physical symptoms.
Yeah.
Healing means wholeness.
Yeah.
We're identifying with the truth of what we are, which is the light.
Yeah.
And then the mind just wants to keep going, yeah, but.
No. Yeah.
Thank
and
you.
I do want to say one more thing. And I asked for help.
Yep.
That was the important thing for me, because I don't normally wouldn't do that. I would have just stayed with the video off, but it wasn't me who asked anymore. It was Jesus or Holy Spirit or divine love, whatever you want to call it, through me. I need help. I like that moment and the willingness.
Mm-hmm.
And it just all unfolded. And I forgot I was even on this call in it. Like it was a freaking miracle of healing. Like,
yeah.
I have to say that I had said to Cindy, I'm not a Jesus freak, and I never liked that, but I'm a Jesus freak now.
Yeah, nice.
Can I just add one thing to this?
Yeah.
Because it blew me away. We meet every week in Living in Purpose, and Audrey forgot about the healing when we met on Thursday. That's why this was such a big thing. And she showed up in this huge, vibrant healing space on Thursday, and I don't even remember, there's a number of us that were there. Jill was there and Isabel was there, and she was just such a bright light and talking about how the world was still happening, and she was at such peace. And that's when we brought up what had happened. I don't know, was it even a month ago? And it was such a transformational healing moment that she had forgotten it happened.
Yeah.
She just stepped into her truth. And that's when a number of us started to cry. It was such a huge space.
I think it was 2 months ago. I think it was a month and a half ago now. Yeah, but we have that on video.
Well,
So
that
yeah,
was
so if
awesome.
anybody really wants to take advantage of these programs and like commit, Living in Purpose is a 1-year program for anyone who's really ready to live A Course in Miracles, complete the text, complete the workbooks. There's 6 months worth of practices, videos, and the community. And it's an incredible, and like you said, Audrey, like I'm the same. I'm not really a big promoter of programs because I think everyone has to really find out what's in their heart to do. But some people just don't even know we offer them, and sometimes I wish I could just highlight everything that goes on behind the scenes, because a lot of people just don't know. They see what we're doing in public here, but it's like what's going on. And the reason why we offer the paid programs is because it really draws out the ones who are really want it. Like it's the ones that say, I'm all in, and I'm ready to just devote my life to this work. And it's incredible to see all the changes.
Yeah, in my mind, it really, it's almost like it's a mystical experience, because it's like people that have gone into living in purpose, they sort of step into their own identity and their commitment and all of everything. I think it just is a yes. And I love what Audrey just shared, that, you know, the symptoms still arise, but something occurred where Audrey knows that she is not the symptoms. She knows, she is aware of the symptoms, and the awareness of love's presence is primary. And so the symptoms don't have the same power that they used to. And it's my I really feel that those symptoms even will divest themselves as the light holds itself in the position and stability of its own being. Then those other residual things will divest into the light that is aware of them. And that's where the excitement happens, because this is new. In the last 5 years, we've just started, and I would even say in the last 3 years, we're seeing this kind of consciousness illumination happening around the world, because the Son of God, the beingness that we are, is awakening to itself and the knowing of itself as I am. And that's what's happening. We are the I am. We are the I am that I am. And it's exciting for me to see so many others realize this for themselves. We have one hand up, and then it's time for us to go, everyone. John Klajensky has his hand up. And John, the mic is yours. You're the last
thank you,
one.
Bill. Thank you, Bill.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to point out lesson 326 today. I am forever an effect of God. And then I just want to read you the tail end of it. And as it is in heaven, so on earth. You know, and for me, that's what it is. You know, it says, heaven of your love, where earth will vanish and all separation thoughts unite in glory as the Son of God. Let us today behold earth disappear, at first transformed and then forgiven, fade entirely into God's holy will. And for me, that's what, you know, that's doing these daily lessons and, you know, being involved with you guys. It's been such a glorious year for me. You know, I've been doing these things religiously, day in, day out. I mean, I had a great week. I mean, I started Sunday with the course thing with Chris, and then on Monday I did one with Kelly, and then on Tuesday I went to a meditation. Wednesday I went to a meditation. Last night I was back at Unity doing a choir thing. I mean, it's like full immersion for me. You know, that's why, you know, for me it's always today, right now, right here, right now. But I did have one other reading that I loved. I found this week. There is one cause, mind, and source. I am, because this cause created me out of itself in order to express itself as me. You know, to me, it's wherever I go, there I am, and I love being around you people. It's, you know, you're my people, my tribe. You know, and
Yeah.
you inspire me on a daily basis. In fact, I was walking around at my job. I said, I got to get out there. You know, you said you didn't have anybody, so I went out to my car for my early lunch, and I said I got to at least get a few minutes of FaceTime with you guys.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you, everyone, for being with us today.
I
And
just want to say thank you to John, too. John, I love you so much. And a week ago, John was at our house tending the fire outside in totally full function, keeping everybody warm. And this is what happens. Like when we really step in, we have a whole new life now. It's like so nice to see you here, John. That was a perfect way to end this call with that prayer. So I just want to say thank you for that.
I'm going to unmute everyone, and we can all say goodbye. And thank you for joining with us for the open mic. And we'll see you next month for this.
Love you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Love everyone.